And of course you've got Rachel. She is played by Maggie Gyllenhaal, and this I didn't expect, but in the cinema, seeing this, I really didn't think they were going to have the balls to kill off the love interest, and that came as a real shock when that happened, that I didn't really know how to react to it. I was like,
yeah, me too. I didn't actually feel that sad when Rachel died in the film, and I'm not sure whether that's because I'm not. She's probably the weakest character out of the ensemble, or whether it was the fact that at the last minute we were given a new actress taking over from Katie Holmes. It's a shame that Katie Holmes didn't come back for this, because that's one thing I hate in a really good film series where a character's recast at the last minute. That there's just some kind of detachment that happens between films. But yeah, I didn't see them killing off Rachel Dawes. I thought Batman would find a way, to save both of them, as is the case in most superhero films when it comes to some kind of dilemma of choice.
Yeah.
And that was really the game changer in this, in that Batman doesn't save the love interest, and he doesn't get a happy life. This was the love of his life, who he knew, when they were kids together, and to have go out in a blaze of glory, it was hard on the character, and we get the great scene afterwards where Bruce is trying to come to terms with this.
Yeah, and I think that she is very much there for she's a very strong and independent character, though I would say that she's not as strong as she was perhaps before, but I really see that, yes, he is trying to come to terms with that, but then, like I said before, he finds it in himself to get up and carry on, whereas Harvey doesn't. And the relationship, Harvey Dent to Batman is what he was trying to achieve, and now Harvey is coming into his own. Bruce now feels he can stop being Batman because there is now a face to this symbol, and there's that moment where Rachel sees him out on the balcony, and he says, and she says, "Don't make me your only hope for a normal life." And he is very much wanting to put the cape up on the hanger, as it were, because Harvey is now the symbol or the hope that Gotham wants, it needs. And then there's that letter at the end.
Yes, I was going to say, yeah. That's one thing I like, is that the characters are kept ignorant of many of the inner characters' thoughts. It's revealed that Rachel was going to marry Harvey Dent, and she wrote a letter to Bruce, and this letter is never revealed to Bruce. Alfred doesn't see the need to burden him with this, because if he had have shown him that letter, arguably Bruce would have just broken down and not be able to pick himself up. Yeah,
and that Alfred is trying to keep the symbol of Batman alive in that by not showing him the letter. And it's revealed, and like you said, it's revealed in that letter that she's going to marry Harvey Dent, because she doesn't feel that there isn't a time that there may be a time that Gotham doesn't need Batman, but then she says in the letter that Bruce won't be able to live without Batman, and she says, "I'll be there as a friend." And I like the fact that some characters, including Alfred, are willing to take away things that could hinder the symbol of all these symbols. Like he takes the letter away to protect Bruce from what he could become had he seen it. had he potentially seen it. And I think it raises moral questions. Is that right? But I would say yes. I would possibly do the same. And the great thing about this is that you put yourself into these moral positions as well. When you're watching it, you think, he's taken the letter away. Would I do the same? And it keeps presenting the audience with the same questions, and it gives you the role, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah, I like the fact that, as you said, these symbols, you have symbols for loads of characters in this film. You have Harvey Dent's symbol of hope, Batman, the symbol of saving Gotham and being, the saviour of Gotham. You have, and then, with the letter preserving that symbol, it's just things I've never even thought about in this film, but you really sit down and think about this film and you can just think of so much to analyse and look into, and I think that's one of the biggest strengths of the film. And there's another scene towards the end that I really like where Two-Face has the gun at Gordon's kid, and he says to Batman, then if I was the best of us, then why was I the one who lost everything? And Batman just says it wasn't, because Harvey Dent doesn't know that it's Bruce Wayne, and in that one line you can tell that the trauma that Bruce has had to go through of accepting Rachel's death but rising above it, and then you've got Harvey Dent, who's the flip side, who couldn't accept it and chose this new persona. And it's just little moments like that of character that just... This is very much a character study piece. Like, every character is looked into. Some may say too much, or that the film is burdened with all these themes and, analysis. But I think that's what makes the film really great, in that we have all these characters, and as you said, we're able to put ourselves in their situation and analyse it from their point of view and see if we would do the same. That comes into play at the end with the ferry scene with the prisoners and civilians. Like, every time I watch that film, I'm thinking, would I press the button to blow up the other ship?
There's there's just going to be one guy there who's just like, give me that. turns the key. But that sort of runs into the themes of the film as well, where the Joker's trying to prove that everyone can become a murderer, can become just as ugly as he is, and he's proved wrong by the people of Gotham because they don't blow themselves up, and he's proved wrong by Batman. And like you said, you could, if you really sit down and analyze this, you pick up so much. And that is a strength, but it's also a weakness, because you have to watch this multiple times to ingest everything that's going on. And some would say that that's a weakness, but I would say it is a strength, because there's so much going on, so much character stuff going on, that you really need to sit down and watch it multiple times to really take in how intricate the plot is.
That's very rare in cinema nowadays, for a film to raise so many ethical issues, and and to have so much character development in a comic book film. First and foremost, it is a comic book film, but it breaks so many of the boundaries of a comic book film that it transcends anything that's come before, and really is its own kind of genre almost. It borrows from a lot of other genres like film noir, etc. But words cannot... I wouldn't describe this or any of the other ones as a superhero film. It just feels like something else, as we said, something else entirely.
Yeah, and I think it does. It's like it's a brilliant superhero film, but it's also a brilliant film. You can view it as either one, and that's what I love about it. And I think we touched on themes and characters and have gone completely overboard with analysis and things like that. but then we've got key moments like Gordon's death.
Yes.
Which is I think is good. I think the reasons for him doing that are well executed. But would you say that was sort of like okay, he's alive again, now we continue with the story?
That's how I saw it. I really didn't buy that part. In fact, I thought it was kind of unnecessary. I mean, what, did he just lie there holding his breath and then... Well, he must have told someone, then did he whisk him away in a car quickly as the crowd was all running round? I didn't buy that at all, to be honest. And yes, it serves the whole thing that he wanted to protect his family, but I think they could have got around that, to be honest, without him, faking his death and then half hour, oh, he's alive again. That's one of the problems I have with the film. It doesn't draw away from the film at all. There's a few other problems I have with the film, which I'll get into later in my final thoughts, but I don't know, it's a nice character moment and shows that Gordon really is going, wants to do everything to preserve, his family so that none of them are murdered or anything, and that obviously comes back at the end with Two-Face.
Yeah.
So I guess it has its place.
I would say it works, but I can see your point there. But of course we have musicals. The music is much the same as Batman Begins, but it's very the themes for the Joker, the musical cues for the Joker, are as unpredictable as his character as well. Hans Zimmer has really got into the head of the Joker. It's very much unpredictable cues of music, sort of entwined. What's
absolutely brilliant is that sometimes with a theme, less is more, and the Joker's theme is one note played on a cello, but it slowly slides to almost a screeching pitch, and when you watch this film with the speakers, that really gets into your head, and that one note is linked with the Joker in every way, and I can't imagine a proper melodic theme to go with the Joker's theme, because as you said, he's so completely unpredictable. Yeah. And this screech really just elevates this sense of chaos and craziness in the character. It does,
and I mean you do have the action cues, and there's very good action in here, and there's the whole flipping of a semi truck,
Although, to be honest, that is probably the main action set piece in the film. If you look at this film from a pure action standpoint, there really isn't all that much. I mean, you have the end fight with the SWAT team, and then you have the highway chase, but other than that, I can't really think of much else in terms of action. It's very much character based,
and that's what I love. It puts story over action. Michael Bay, it does that, and that's what summer blockbusters should do. I mean, you have action films, you have summer blockbuster action films, but you can also include a story in there. You can also, because you're right, it has action in it, but it's few and far between, but it doesn't seem like that because you're so engrossed in what's going on.
Yeah, and it's so rare to see that in a film, and I just wish more films could be like this one. I mean, there is so much time dedicated to its characters, and just everything gels together so well. And as a sequel, although it does carry on, obviously, it is very much its own story, and you could watch this having not watched Batman Begins, and that their kind of sequels are like. They are self-contained as a film, and that again is rare in films, because usually it leaves it open for a sequel. Prometheus.
Yeah.